Can you say something? The mic. Yes. Hello.
Morning. This is another wonderful day of learning. This is day 2 of this 6-week personal development training for adults. And yesterday was absolutely amazing. We are not here at the center. We have already dropped the link for the first session of self-awareness and always go and listen or watch the movie. Was introductory class. This week one, talking about self-awareness, the entire week, different aspects of self-awareness. We started introduction and we looked at the basic concepts of self-awareness and looked at the different components of self-awareness, the values and the needs, self-perception, strength and weaknesses, and so forth. We also looked at the methods of developing self-awareness. So today, we are going to be zeroing in on emotional awareness and regulation. So if you miss the introductory part, very, very important. I would encourage you to go get the replay and watch the introductory part, because what we're going to be talking about moving forward, we're going to be expanding on the knowledge that we already know from the introduction. Again, my name is Obwedi, and I'm going to be facilitating this class. Today, our lecture will be virtual. We decided that practical adult education class, it's practically impossible to get all the adults together every single day. So we decided that every Monday, we're going to be having our physical class right here at the Transformation Center. And we're not going to be broadcasting our morning classes. So we want you to come to the center. And Tuesdays, Fridays, we will be broadcasting online. We are going to be streaming live, like we are doing right now, to get every other person involved. See that so many people are interested in this program. This is part of my teaching practice exercise. for my postgraduate diploma in education at University of Lagos, right here. So we have 6 teaching practice, and because I major in adult education, I am practicing right here at the Transformation Center, and you are my students. So thank you for being in my class. So let's jump right into emotional regulation. Emotional regulation. Let me get my slide. Okay, good. Emotions. What are emotions? I want to first interact. What are emotions? What do you understand by emotions? Can you just type in the comments section? And while you're typing what you understand by emotions, I also want you to introduce yourself and let me know where you are joining from. Just put your name, where you're joining from, and then tell me what you understand emotions to mean. So let's take a few minutes to that. What are emotions? Something echoing somewhere. Okay. So emotions are a fundamental part of human experience. They provide valuable information about our internal states and our interactions with the world. However, when left checked, emotions can stress, poor decision making, strain relationships. Emotional awareness and regulation, they are essential skills and navigating life's challenges, fostering well-being. So emotions are, they are part of us. We cannot run away from our emotions because man, spirit has a soul, that has a soul, and this is the body. In the soul realm, that's where the emotion dwells. Your intellect, your will, and your emotion. It is seated in the soul. So it is part of, we can't run away from it. But learning about it and how to regulate it will actually make our lives much better. So we are going to begin by identifying and labeling emotions. You know that a lot of people absolutely do not know what they are feeling most of the time. They cannot tell what they are feeling. They are feeling something, they know that something is going on, but they do not know what they are feeling. You cannot label, you cannot identify their emotions. So we're going to begin by that. And please, let me know in the comment section what emotions do you feel. What emotions can you identify? Just put it in the comment section. What emotions can you identify? Whether in yourself or people or your environment. Just put it in the comment section. Different types of emotions that you can feel. It's important to develop our emotional vocabulary because when we do, we can be able to really, share what we are feeling, we can be able to communicate what we are feeling for other people to understand. So it's not enough to just say, I feel good or I feel bad. Learning a wider range of emotional words allows for more understanding. Example, instead of saying, I feel bad, if I say disappointed, that's another word. You can say frustrated, you can say anxious or lonely. The truth is that at the end of the day, all of these different emotions, they make you feel bad. But you need to know exactly what you're feeling. Because the feeling of disappointment, the emotion of disappointment, the emotion of frustration, the emotion of anxiety and loneliness are different emotions. They are not the same. So it's important to know what you're feeling at a particular time so that you can be able to reverse it or come out of it. I usually tell this story, and I told that story yesterday. As a parent, you go out, tell your children this, and then you go to work and it's holiday. So of course, once you do, you forget everything except and you watch TV or do other things. Now it's evening and you're back. And of course, immediately you knock at the door. That's when you remember all the things that you oh my goodness, I didn't wash the clothes, I didn't cook, I didn't sleep, I didn't do anything. That's what you remember because you carried away doing children's stuff. And of course, you enter the house and look around, everybody's scattered. Like everybody's they're eating all the food that you have. Like at that moment, you are going to be feeling a lot of things. It's very important that you ask yourself, you pause, before you jump into scatter everywhere. You pause and ask yourself, what exactly am I doing at this moment? Am I just tired from work? If you're tired, just go right up and go and rest. Don't even try to engage anybody at that point, just go and rest. Are you disappointed? Are you just, what are you? Are you frustrated by, the scene that you met? It's important to identify exactly what you are feeling at a particular time so that you can be able to know how to take care of it. But in all, you should just take some time out, pause, don't jump into reactions because emotions can trigger reactions. But if you not manage your emotions well, can trigger the wrong reaction. So it's important to pause first before jumping into reaction. Because by the time you take some time and rest, you begin to see things in a different perspective. It might not just be as bad as it was in the beginning. So it's important to be aware of our emotions. So here are some lists of core emotions. There are so many emotions. But here are some lists of core emotions. There's happiness and joy, contentment, pleasure, satisfaction. There is sadness, which shows like disappointment, grief, hopelessness. There is fear. All of these are emotions. The response to perceived danger. There is anger, displeasure, hostility. There is disgust, revulsion, strong disapproval. Sometimes people really do not know these vocabulary, these other words, so they can't be able to explain exactly what they are doing. So if you pass a trash car, a trash truck, Lagos, what do you do? If you pass through a trash truck, a loaded trash truck, you know what it is? Don't you smell? What do you feel? At that moment, you can't say that you're feeling angry. Of course, there's anger in it, but it's basically disgust. Basically disgust because of the function, the smell that is coming out of it. So we need to expand our vocabulary so that we can know exactly what we are feeling per time. Then there's surprise. This is a response to an unexpected event. It could be a positive or a negative surprise. There is other common emotions like love, affection, care, anxiety that shows up with worry, nervousness, or easy. There is shame when you're in a situation of humiliation, distress, or perceived wrongdoing. There's guilt, feeling of having done wrong. Then there's pride, satisfaction from achievement. Of course, there is also envy. There are other negative emotions. There's envy, jealousy, resentful, fear of losing something, frustration, embarrassment. These are different emotions that we feel. So it's important that we are aware of these emotions so that we can be able to regulate it appropriately. Before we can get into regulation, we have to have awareness, because you cannot regulate what you are not aware of. Now, recognizing the physical manifestations of emotions. Emotions often manifest physically. So paying attention to these physical cues can help you identify what you're feeling. Example, anxiety. When you're anxious, it shows up with rapid habits. You have to start sweating, start sweating palms, tight chest. You want to do the speech at school, call it up, maybe unexpectedly unprepared. Come on out, come and say something to the crowd. Sometimes that's feeling of anxiety, your hands just start fixing, sweaty palms, tight chest, or you are about to go on an interview. That feeling of anxiety, because there is an unknown situation, you don't know what's going to happen. So that feeling of anxiety or anger, you're so angry, you see yourself, like your face is flushed, your muscles are tight, like just. So you feel these emotions, you feel them. Emotions are felt. And then there is sadness, there is heavy feeling in the chest. You come to this slumped posture, like you just find yourself, you don't even know that you're like that. Somebody will look at you and say, what is wrong? Because it manifests in your feeling, and then the physical manifestation of what you're feeling. Posture, tearfulness, and all of these things. So the practical application is do a body scan. You're watching me right now. Do a body scan. Sit quiet. You're quietly seated to make sure where you are. Pay attention to the sensation in different parts of your body. What are you feeling right now? These are questions that you should ask yourself all the time. I do it all the time. Sometimes I'm just, what exactly are you feeling right now? On my own, I'm just asking. Right, if I'm happy and excited, I'm excited. Because happiness can come out in many ways. Excitement, you achieve something, achievements, all of those things. So what exactly are you feeling at the moment? If you like, you can talk about the comment section. What exactly are you feeling at the moment? Are you excited that you're part of this class? Are you happy that you're here? What are you feeling? Just put on the comment section. This is supposed to be interactive. If you were in class, we would have been asking ourselves these questions. But because you're online, you're still going to be communicating, you're still going to be interacting on the comment section. So after you have taken the body scan, you have identified what you're feeling. Please type it on the comment section. Thank you. Now move on to the root causes of emotions. What causes emotions? Exploring the connection between our thoughts, our feelings, and our behavior. It begins from that thought act. You might just be on your own doing whatever, and all of a sudden a thought flashes of something, maybe a wrong tweet, something that someone thinks to do, the world of you. Start thinking about it. All of a sudden, your blood starts to your heart start pacing because you're thinking about what they said, what they do. Anger is beginning to rise. And at that moment, if that person walks into the room casually and honestly, to say something to you, you're going to lash at the other person because the thoughts have produced this feeling, and the feeling is not checked in the manifesting behavior. And the person is wondering, what did I do to you? What did I do now? Something that the person did like 5 years ago, just like thinking about it. And your emotional stakes changes. and it reflects in your behavior. So we need to understand the connection between thoughts, feelings, and behavior. And when you're able to understand that, it will also produce empathy for other people. Because when you see them lash out at all times, you'll be able to understand maybe they are going through a lot and they are really going through a lot. For instance, you're in traffic and you're just trying to drive on your lane and you're okay. Somebody just passes and just tosses you like that, like calls you one name. You just have to be empathetic. We are definitely going through something. People don't just jump behavior. Something influences behavior. And it begins from thoughts, feeling, and then behavior. So our thoughts, feelings, and behavior are interconnected. Often, our thoughts trigger our feelings, which in turn influences our actions. I hope you understand this connection, the connection of thoughts, feeling, and behavior. You don't just behave anyhow. Something triggers that behavior. You don't just feel anyhow. Something triggers that feeling. So when you begin to feel an unusual emotion, pause and ask yourself, what triggered this feeling? What was I thinking? Just take some steps back. What thoughts was I thinking that triggered this emotion at this moment? This is part of emotional awareness. This is what emotional awareness really is all about. Because people are bundles of emotion everywhere, they are reacting everywhere, they have no idea, no regulation. They don't know. They are just, you just pinch them here, pinch them here. But when you are able to understand emotions and be aware of it, then you can regulate it. People will not be triggering you anyhow because you know where it's coming from and you know how to respond. That's emotional awareness. So if we stop this class today and you understand this concept at this moment, I believe that we have achieved our objective. But we have so much more to do. Now, let's go into identifying triggers. I think we have mentioned this. I want us to go and study a case study. But before we go, let me go through some emotional regulation techniques so that you can begin to learn how to manage your emotions. There are different strategies. One of the easiest and one that anybody can practice is deep breathing. This thing works. You know, people think, oh, how can deep breathing help you manage it? It does, can, because the flow of oxygen like into your system, like you have the way of calming your body. And remember, emotions are feelings produced in the body. And when the body is calm, it helps to manage the emotions. So one of the strategies is deep breathing. We can practice this together. You take slow, deep breaths to be able to calm your nervous system. So we're going to do this together. This is the 4, 7, 8 breathing technique. So 4 seconds, you take in a deep breath for 4 seconds. You're breathing in for 4 seconds. And then you hold it for 7 seconds. And then you exhale for a whole 8 seconds. Not just normal breathing in and out. So let's do this together. Let's take a deep breath. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now hold it for 7 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now we need to exhale slowly for 8 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do you know what this has done? By the time you calculate 8 seconds plus 7 plus 4 is how many seconds? 6. 90 seconds. Do you know that just pausing for 90 seconds can create a difference in reaction? An emotion can be triggered. Just pausing for 90 seconds can change your perspective and shift the reaction that you have, maybe a negative reaction. Maybe somebody spoke so harshly to you. So if you lash out, just that's 90 seconds of break can change your perspective and decide not to react to that reaction. So it's important. So it's not just that the deep breath will calm your emotions, it will also give you adequate time to think and change your reaction. Most of the reactions that we do, that we regret later on, if you look back, see that you just responded spontaneously. Somebody did something and you just feel like you have to respond immediately and just give that person. We're just taking that few moments to, take a deep breath and change the perspective, and you can change the response and thank yourself. And it's the same thing in parenting. Someone said that parenting is not an emergency. Discipline is not an emergency. It's not immediately jump. You just have to. You can take some time off. Reflect on this. Why did this child not behave this way? What triggered this reaction? What triggered this? What did this? You can change your perception, and then you now take your time to counsel instead of eating. Eating has really never produced an exceptional child. That's the truth. Instruction has, but eating alone cannot. So it helps us to become better leaders, a better team player, better parents, and better member of society. So you see how important emotional regulation is. So another technique, another strategy is mindfulness. Yes, we talked about it in class. A lot of people do not practice mindfulness. In fact, a lot of people focus for 10 seconds without being distracted. Mindfulness is paying attention to the present moment without judgment, just being present. You sometimes I do like it, particularly one of them. I'll just say, take it easy, just chew gently, savor the aroma, savor the taste. Like people just eat mindlessly, people talk mindlessly, people react mindlessly. There is need for mindfulness. Mindfulness will help you understand what you're feeling at the moment, which will actually help you to respond in a better way towards doing. So taking that moment to be present. So practicing mindfulness helps you. So when you're there, present. Another strategy is, let me give you a simple technique for practicing mindfulness. Can you just focus on your breathing for the next 10 seconds? Just your breathing in. You focus on your breathing. The air that comes out of your nose to really feel that. Have you ever focused on that breath? A lot of people know that something comes out. So, can you feel that breath that comes out of your nose? Now, take a deep breath. Go out. Feel the breath. Focus on it. Breathe in, breathe out for another 10 to 15 seconds. Focus on it. Now we just practice mindfulness. We're just present, focusing on that breath. That's the simple way to bring your mind and your attention to a particular thing. So you can actually bring your mind and attention to the emotion that you're feeling and be mindful of it. At this moment, I am really angry. That's why people that have practiced master their emotional awareness and regulation, they can just be smiling at you and telling you, I am so angry right now. And you're wondering, so why are you smiling? They know exactly what they are feeling, but because they are in charge, They are not reacting, but they know. Anger is not a bad thing. Emotions are not bad. Emotions are just emotions just lets you know what you're feeling. They are not bad. Whether you're sad or anything, they are information. Emotions are information. Now, what do you do with that information? Someone abuses you, abuses your parents, says bad things about you, and you feel, acknowledge I'm sad, I'm angry right now. Why am I angry? Because of what this person said. Then ask yourself, what this person said, is it true? Question back. If it's not true, why would you react? Why would you not fight this person? It's your opinion and they're entitled to it. So you can either ignore or you respond in a more civilized way, showing that you are in charge. Yes. So mindfulness, bringing your attention to moments present from the without judgment, is a technique for emotional regulation. I don't know if you're getting me. How has it been so far? Put in the comment section, please. Has it been helpful? Have you been practicing mindfulness? Have you been practicing deep breathing exercises when you are feeling a negative emotion? Because of course we don't really practice this when we're feeling our positive emotions, because we're excited and all of that. It's usually to help us manage the negative emotions so that the response will not be. Yeah, but you can still practice it because some people get so excited and just everywhere. So we still need to manage our emotions. Another strategy is reframing negative thoughts. Thoughts come to our mind. Example, oh, you're not good enough. That's a thought that comes to your mind when you're doing something. You can reframe it. You can challenge that negative thought and replace it with a more positive one. For instance, we are adults here and they're trying to do a project and someone says, they're not good enough, you can't do this. A thought comes and says that you can't do it. You need to challenge it. Do you know how you can challenge it? Bring out your details. I went through secondary school, wrote for a year. I was good enough and I passed. Entered university. I was good enough. Graduated, secured my job, and I've worked in this organization for 100 years. And somebody's trying to say, I'm not good enough. Now you challenge that negative thoughts with accomplishments that you've done. And at the end of the day, you frame that thought to say, I can do this. That's how you do that. Challenge negative thoughts and then you frame it. So I said, I can't do this, or you can't do this, or you're not, or something. This position is not good. You don't deserve this. You challenge it first. After challenging it by bringing out your CV, you now reframe it in a positive way that you are good enough. You deserve to be on this table. You deserve to have everything that you have. Yes. It shows up as imposter syndrome. Why me? I remember an experience I had. This was about 3 years ago. I had the privilege of speaking, presenting. I'm talking about the foundation at a huge conference of established, accomplished educators, like all the top schools, the big schools, secondary school, primary schools, like the big ones, private ones. I had the privilege of presenting for 10 minutes, talk about our foundation. Oh my goodness. At some point, I was so anxious, like me. How will I speak? Because of this, people that all the accomplished people, you're talking about schools like Greenspring, the proprietor, ruler, schools like Christland, all of those people were in the room. I'm supposed to speak to them, like, what am I going to say? Do you know I had to challenge that negative thoughts that made me think, like, who are you? What do you have to offer? Why should you be on this table? I challenged, I said, What we are doing here, we are transforming lives, the lives of African children. I acknowledge the good things that they are doing, but we are equally doing great things. We are inspiring, we are equipping African children with personal development skills. I am also an expert in my own right, so I deserve to be on this stage. I deserve to be in this room. I empowered myself. I changed that negative thought pattern and I reframed it. And I'm telling you, that presentation, it was 10 minutes, but it was amazing. And everybody gave me a standing ovation. And by the time we finished, even these big women who came to our stand, wrote the experiment, such an amazing, inspiring, that was the word coming out of their mouth. Your story is so inspiring. What you're doing is great. If I hadn't changed that negative thought pattern, I would have appeared there with confidence. I wouldn't have. And I would have cut myself short. So we can reframe negative thought patterns, challenge them, and reframe them. That's it. And by the time you do, you walk onto a stage empowered instead of defeated. Because the way you show up also matters. So these are the things that you do behind the scene when you show up. This is important for adults and older people because I can get it. So I just can't do this. What do I do this? Like everybody's already doing this, or somebody is doing this. I'm telling them, this market is so full that if everyone on this room begins to teach on this same topic, we're still not enough to cover the people that are supposed to hear this word. And finally, physical activity. This one works so well. It's not finally one of them. Physical activity. You can just take a walk. It has a way of putting oxygen into your system and helping you to refrain your mind. It increases, it releases the emotion endorphins that improves your mood. Do you know, there's a quote that I heard, it says, most people do not enjoy going to the gym, but everybody's happy when they are leaving the gym. When you finally drag yourself to the gym and you finish exercise, you are always happy because there is this release of endorphins and improves your mood, you're empowered, you're inspired. So go for a walk, go for a run, and it helps with your emotion. Remember, we're still talking about emotional regulation. Seeking support. Everybody needs someone in their life that they can talk to. Let me tell you, the reason why people have committed suicide is because they have no one to talk to. If only you can share your emotions openly with the right person, not the wrong people. People need that right person in their life. It can be a friend, it can be a family member, it can be a therapist. Please, you need to pay. If you don't have any human being, friend or family that you know you can talk to, get a therapist, pay them money for your own sake, and talk to them about your emotions. They have a way of helping you to really go deeper into what you're feeling and change your perspective. Because sometimes they're just focused on one thing. Our perspective is so negative. But when you hear from a different person and shift your perspective, and it will change the way you see things and actually not come out of that emotion. Like you see people, some of these accomplished people that have killed themselves. They don't have any idea of how other people see them. But within them to see themselves so small to the point that they could do it. They were able to speak to the right people to help them change their perspective. It might be able to help them, to produce a better outcome. So I recommend therapy. I have a therapist myself that I talk to. I recommend therapists. I also recommend having good friendships, people that you can talk to. But if you feel like this person will not get me, please go and employ services of a professional therapist. So seeking support is another thing. Developing resilience and emotional intelligence, I think this covers it. Emotional intelligence means being able to understand and manage your emotions and emotions of other people, understanding the emotions of other people, and the ability to bounce back. Learning from the failed project, using that knowledge to improve your future projects. That is resilience, ability to bounce back from failure. When you fall, you don't stay there. You get up, you learn what you have to learn, and you move forward. Now, how is it going? Let me take another check before we get into practical application of this case study. How is it going? What's the comment like? Mano, how is it going? Says, how is it going? Please put on the comment section. How is the lesson going so far? We have a few minutes now to go. How is it going? Please let me know on the comment section. Okay. So while you're at it, let's read this case study about Sarah's emotional toolkit. Now, this case study, it brings everything all together. Everything that we learned today. So this is a practical way that you can apply it. The situation. Sarah, a 15-year-old, often felt overwhelmed by her emotions. She gets easily frustrated with her siblings, anxious before tests, and sometimes just feel inexplicably sad. She often reacts impulsively, which led to arguments and friends. She knew she needed to find a better way to manage her. I know that a lot of us are in this kind of emotional drain sometimes, or our young people, our teenagers, or people that we mentor. Now let's see how Sarah was able to help herself. And that's the wonderful thing about research, that applying situations and get the same results. Now the challenge, Sarah wanted to learn how to understand her emotions and develop strategies to handle them effectively. She wanted to view an emotional toolkit that she could use in different situations. Here are the steps that Sarah took. Sarah started paying attention to her feelings and using more specific words to describe them. That's developing emotional vocabulary. Example, instead of saying, I feel bad, she would say, I feel disappointed because my friend forgot my birthday. She downloaded an app with an emotion wheel. So I posted an emotion wheel on the platform where you can put several emotions. And she used these to explore different shades of emotion. So you can use that. Even though I use AI to generate it. So some of the words have sparkles, but you should be able to figure it out. They're adults. So the next thing, Sarah noticed how her body reacted to different emotions. So she started recognizing physical manifestations of emotions that she's feeling. Example, she realized that when she was anxious, her stomach would feel tight and her heart would race. When she was hungry, her jaw clenched. She started to be body scans to become more aware of these cues. So it's important for us to do that. What's the next thing she did? Next, Sarah started a thought journal to track her thoughts, her feelings, and her behavior. Example, she got a low grade on the quiz, and she thought, I'm so stupid. I'll never be good at this subject. Then the feeling of sadness and frustration started welling up. And then the behavior that followed that, she started avoiding studying for the next test. So this helps us see how her negative thoughts led to negative habits and unhelpful behaviors. So when you stop the thoughts at the thoughts level, it will not get into feeling and it will not come out in behavior. So it begins with the thoughts. And that's what happens when we see children behave in a certain negative way, and we want to cut off the behavior without trying to find out what is the root cause. What are the thoughts that produce the feeling that brought out this behavior? If we cut it off, it's just like plucking a mango from the tree. You have not killed the mango tree. The mango tree will produce another mango because behaviors are fruits. Behaviors are fruits. So if you want to deal with behaviors, you need to deal with the thoughts. The thoughts is the roots. So Sarah understood this by journaling. The journaling helped her to understand and trace the patterns in her life. Sarah noticed patterns in her emotions and identified her triggers. She realized that she felt anxious when she had to give presentations in class and frustrated when her siblings let their things lying around. By recognizing her triggers, she could prepare herself for these situations. So you know those people in your life that is like it's just you're always looking at stuff. Just recognize the triggers, and then once you do recognize it, when it's coming, you're now observing it, you're now seeing what it is. It might even become funny, as in you might become funny than triggering you because you're now observing like what is bringing that thing out, and you're now understanding how this thing used to offend you before. Now you can actually look at it and actually smile, or maybe in a different way. So Sarah was able to identify her triggers. Then look at what she started doing. When she felt anxious, she would practice the 4-7-8 breathing to calm herself down. She started doing short mindfulness exercises to stay present and avoid getting overwhelmed by her thoughts. Another reason why mindfulness is important is it helps us deal with anxiety. Anxiety always comes when we start thinking like 5 steps ahead, 20 steps ahead. What happens for next day? Just be present. Just let's just do now. That's why the Bible says, be anxious of nothing, but in everything, through prayer, petition, and thanksgiving, present your request to God. So sufficient is the challenge for the day alone. For today. So just be present, just deal with the present situation today. Be present today. Just leave tomorrow. Oh, my children. Oh, what happens to them? Their future. Tomorrow. Just deal with the present now. And you see how you cut off anxiety. Yes. So being mindful helps you in dealing with anxious emotions. So it's telling me that time is up. Finally, reframing negative thoughts. We talked about this. So Sarah challenged her negative thoughts and replaced them with more positive and realistic ones. Instead of I'm stupid, she'll tell herself, I struggled with this place, but I can learn from my mistake and I can improve next time. And she sought for support. She started talking to her older sister about her skills. And here is the outcome. Sarah felt more in control of her emotions. She was able to manage anxiety, contests, and presentations. She had fewer arguments with her siblings. She felt more resilient and confident in her ability to handle challenges. And she now has a toolkit of techniques that she can use in any situation. It's over to you now. What did you learn from this whole emotional awareness and regulation presentation, because we've come to the end. So what do you learn? What two keys are you taking away from this lesson? You can share it in the comment section. I think another of you in the comments of interaction. Yeah? Yeah? All right. So what did you take away from this lesson? Where is this? All right. So I am here. Let's interact. If you want to share anything, let me look at the. What is your takeaway? What did you take away? It's on YouTube. Okay. Let me see your comments. I want to see the comments. Let me see the comments. How was the class? What did you learn? What is your takeaway from this class today? Let me know in the comment section. Was it helpful? Which of the two kits are you going to begin practicing now? All right, thank you. We have come to the end of today's class and we will continue tomorrow. Just take your time, practice some of the emotional techniques that we have shared, emotional regulation techniques that we have shared. And when we come back tomorrow, you will let me know how it went. So see you again tomorrow as we continue this lesson on self-awareness. Bye.